Okay.
Right on. So yeah, we back, man, for part two of our conversation and coming up on the end of our time together. Brother Daquan, it's definitely been enlightening just talking to you, and it's also just been fascinating listening to your story, man, and how you overcome and how you continue in the fight through many of the challenges that we face. And you've articulated it so clearly because people don't understand, man, what we go through. And I know, and you mentioned, your closest relationships, like with your wife. You know, my wife, I'm sure she go through the same stuff, and I try to explain it to her, but I just can't. But we were talking the other day, and she mentioned the fact that part of who I am has to do with the trauma that I experienced with being in prison. Not to mention the trauma that happened before prison,
Yes.
and you shine light on that too, your own post-incarceration trauma. And many of us who've been incarcerated, man, we come from some backgrounds as young people where we've had some sort of trauma and multiple traumas, be it poverty, drugs, sexual abuse, witnessing violence, being victims of violence, all of that, perpetrating violence, all of that traumatizes us, man. And then when we get in prison, we get traumatized again. And then they punish us while they got us in prison. And then they going to release us and expect us to be upright, upstanding citizens after they done beat the hell out of us.
I mean, it don't do nothing but exacerbate all of those problems. Like I
At the
know
end
I
of the
saw,
day.
like you had an institutionalized personality trait, antisocial personality trait, where you see a lot of individuals that's been incarcerated. A lot of those individuals deal with with antisocial personality traits because some of those individuals would separate themselves from the pack of wolves. And this is the only way that I can try to explain this for you to understand. Not to say that the individuals that were into things were wolves. They were just not going to play no games when it came. They live by different principles than the individual that needed to go somewhere else and sit down. So when that individual couldn't mingle and be amongst all of the people and do all of the normal everyday activities in prison, that individual began to isolate himself just to stay out of trouble. Not to say that that individual punk, not to say that that individual soft. That individual just had a different perception of what prison was. It took for me to realize that prison was a gift and a curse for me.
Right on, man. It's all about
You understand
perception.
what I'm saying? Yeah, it was a gift and a curse for me. I realized that I got a lot of friends, a lot of people, a lot of family members that's not here today. You understand? But I'm still here. So
Got a chance to make a
that means
difference.
the universe has something in store for me. That it's something in me that's not just for me, but for the world and for the community and for everybody that's around me. That's where I come from. My grandmother was the mother of the neighborhood. She organized in the neighborhood. My grandmother was a community organizer. So this is what I come from. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not what I asked for. I didn't ask
who you are.
This is what this is what the universe willed me to be.
Yeah.
I was willed into this position. I'm not saying that I'm the best to do. It's not that. It's just, man, I'm tired. I get tired. I'm tired of people thinking man, I'm tired of white people. Thinking that they can do things to us and we are not supposed to say or do anything about it. I don't care if it's coming from prison. I don't care if it's dealing with housing. I don't care if it's dealing with employment. You don't have to have you don't have to have a criminal conviction. You're a black, brown, man or woman, child in America.
Yeah, man.
That is our reality. And when people need to pay attention to that. Because if they don't, these people are trying to force us right back into slavery, bondage, physical, meaning you don't get up and do what you're supposed to do and get in this fight and stand up against these people that's trying to oppress you, that's going to oppress your grandkids, because you can say, oh, I ain't getting into that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Let it happen to your grandchild. Let it happen to your brother, your sister. We have to. The number one thing these people know that they got advantage of us is that we're not going to come together. And if we come together, they can put somebody amongst us to be an agent provocateur to tear the whole house down.
And this is what this history has shown us. Every time we
Systematic,
built something up. Yep. Every time. You're absolutely right.
And in closing, this is what I want to say, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. I want to do the same thing you're doing. I want a podcast. You know, this is what everybody been telling me to do. What I want to do is I want to be the one that sit down with the politicians, because I be at that General Assembly talking to these people, man.
Yeah,
I'm in them offices going through them halls. I'm working with individuals on both sides of the aisle, and I want to be able to sit them down. Like right now, election time coming up. So we tell people all the time, get out and vote, register to vote, do this, do that. But we're not telling them why they need to be voting.
Right.
Why vote?
Right.
Why vote?
Give them something to imagine. Tell them just think, what if? Just imagine.
Yes.
You know, when you talk to them, when you're trying to spark action.
What if we got a platform like this where we sitting down going over all of the bills that's going to be harmful to the Black community on a podcast, and we got an opportunity to extend the invitation for these people to come in and sit down on the couch and talk to us as men and women, and not politicians and voters.
So the only thing to do then, Daquan, is to do it, brother. You know, start putting it in action. You know.
Okay, I need support with that too. I need some guidance.
Right on. We all need guidance, and so we'll talk more about that. But you got what it takes. You know, it's really important. But what do you do down in City Hall? You were saying down in the hall, right?
No, at the General Assembly.
At the General Assembly. What do you do down there? What do you do down in the General Assembly?
What we do when we usually go there on lobby day. We have lobby days, Second Chance Alliance, of course. We have lobby days. So what we do is when a bill come out, like a driver's license restoration bill, we know the number of the bill. We know whether it's House bill, Senate bill, what bill it is. We go through that bill. We see all the harmful things within that bill, and then we institute ways to make that bill better. Then once we institute ways to make that bill better, we go to the General Assembly, go to the halls. We find out who's sponsoring these bills. We find out what these individuals that sponsor these bills, previous bills, look like. It's just a whole different variety of things. Then we go in there and we actually have meetings and conversations to sit down and talk to them about these bills and finding out ways whether we're against the bill or we for the bill. You get what I'm saying? If we're against the bill, we let them know we're against it, and we asking them to be against it. And we asking them, here's ways to make that. We're not asking them, we're telling them. We're saying, here's ways to make this bill better. Because if you do this, this bill is going to impact this, that, and the third.
Right.
That's what we do.
That's dope. And so, yeah, as you're talking, I'm thinking me and you, and we've already talked about it a little bit before, we got to connect on, doing some advocacy for solitary confinement as well.
Oh, yes. And the post-incarceration syndrome. And we just need to build a whole platform, a whole platform where we just talking about the lasting psychological damage of incarceration, man, because telling you.
That's what we're about to do. That's what me and you about to do. When we get off this podcast today, we're going to follow up and we're going to form another podcast, me and you.
Yeah, we could do that, bro.
All right? So we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. Just imagine, man. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
That's what's wrong with us. You have a bunch of, and not only that, it's a sickness within the Black leadership in the Black community.
Syndrome.
It's a sickness, man. Mm-hmm. It's a sickness. See, I'm not afraid to say this type of stuff. Yeah, you can't hurt me. You can't attack me.
Absolutely.
You can't take nothing away from me because I ain't got nothing for you to take. All I got is my word. All I got is my word. And all I'm going to do is stand on that. And you can't take that because I already said when you incarcerated me. See, this is the thing. This is another thing where I have to tell myself every day out here. I call this the beautiful struggle, brother. I call it the beautiful struggle. I tell myself every day, Daquan, you ain't let them lock your mind up. You ain't let them take your mind when you was locked up, Daquan. Don't let these people out here in this world take your mind, and because it's so easy for people like me to hit that corner and think I'm being slick and get my whole head busted over around the corner. You get where I'm coming from? So when things get hard and rough over here, it ain't nothing in place for individuals like that, bro. And if you ain't got no support system, everybody don't have a Dennis Gaddy. Everybody don't have a Frankie Roberts. Everybody don't have an Ashley Daniels. Everybody don't have all of these individuals that I have in my corner and in my support system. So what I want to do, that's why I created Lex V. Lex V stands for Live Experience Voices. No, it's not a nonprofit. It's an LLC. And what we do is we consult, we organize, we advocate around social justice and criminal justice issues. So what we do is we tell stories to be able to paint a picture for realities for these people when they in there talking about they don't know. So now you got this story, you got a live individual, a real true story based off their lived experience. Their lived experience is their power. Your power is your voice. Your voice is your vote.
That's
you
right.
get what I'm saying?
Ooh, come on, man. Rock on, man. Rock on. Absolutely, bro, man. Absolutely. Look, man. Look, so how can the people find you? How can the people find you through Lex V, or how can they find you at Second Chance Alliance, or personally? How do you want people to get you?
You can go on the Second Chance Alliance website. You can go on Daquan. You can Daquan Peters on Facebook. Royal Life to God on Instagram. I don't got too many other platforms because I don't, I got to get into the social media things. I do Facebook, but I don't be on it like that. I might be on Facebook once a month, man. I'm not gonna lie. I need to be on there more. Now that I have my own company, I have to be on there more. I have to get out there and do a lot of this type of stuff.
LinkedIn too. Also LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn?
Hey, yes. I need to get. I'm personally on LinkedIn. Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. Yes, I forgot. I don't even be on there like that, man. I got to get back in. I got to
especially once you're doing your business, you want to start.
Yeah. I got to get back because I've been driving dump trucks. Yeah. So I drive dump trucks. That's the only thing that's going to pay me a livable wage.
Yeah.
I'm working in this space don't pay you. I'm the stuff I do now, I do for free. Right. Unless somebody, contract to do certain things. But predominantly when you see me, I'm doing this for free, man. It's I went to the prison last week, man. That's the first time I went real quick, man. I went back to that prison, Brother Craig.
Which prison?
I went to Maury, Green County. I went to the honor grade camp. And I went back in there to talk to them guys, man. When I picked that box up and the guys felt me, of course all of them was coming around me. When I turned around and, yo, man, y'all brothers, when I said, hey, my tears bust down and rolled down my face, man. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't even form the words. Words couldn't even come out my mouth. Them brothers came over there and said, man, it's all right, man. We know you feel us, man. I knew that it made me think about a lot of stuff that I've been taking for granted.
I'm feeling that now as I envision it, man.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I was just one of them. I was just them dudes in federal prison going to the reentry simulations, talking to dudes that came back into the prison that's telling us what's out. And the only thing I told them dudes, man, is why you're here, no matter what you do, practice self-love, self-care. So when you get there, you'll be already ahead of the game, man. Because you don't want to learn how to practice self-care and self-love in a chaotic world where it's going 1,000,000 miles an hour and everybody pulling from
you. Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's going to throw you off your balance. That's going to cause you to go into the substance abuse use, all of these, it's just a whole different realm.
I was looking online today and I saw just like a little video and it surprised me. And it was a dude displaying like 4 behaviors or something that he continues to do from the time that he was in prison, now that he's out, that helps him stay disciplined. That help him stay disciplined and on the right path. And I was blown away by that. I was like, wow.
That's real. I would like to speak with that brother. See, it's brothers like that, man, that we have to build that bond.
Absolutely.
Like, no matter if they from, it's brothers all over that's fighting this fight, man.
Look, man, we are a unique fraternity, man.
That's what we need to build, bro. We need to see how the Black Lives Matter, Tamika Mallory, when something happens, they pull up, they go to these places. We need that for us.
And that's part of what we can work on, man. And that's part of what me and you can work on when we talk about this new platform.
Because I'm on all of these coalitions, the Fines and Fees Coalition, the Incarceration NC Coalition. I done work with every major the ACLU, North Carolina. I done work with a lot of these people, bro. But we as a group, as impacted people, we don't have our own where we're in control of it. Where we're in control. You understand what I'm saying? And when
there's always somebody over us.
Yeah, and when you come to us,
handling the
purse. You come to us correct because you know what we're about. And the strength in numbers. The power of the people is always greater than the people in power, man.
Absolutely, man. And so, look, after we get off this, man, let's stay in touch and follow up. And we're going to work on definitely building this type of platform because I really love the ideal, man. And I really think, you're talking about what you're doing nowadays, the work you're still tied in with. But one last question I want to ask you, and that question is, if you had a word of wisdom to give to a young person coming up, say a young Daquan, before you went to prison, what would you have told Daquan?
A word of wisdom, refinement, refinement.
Yeah, man.
And the reason why I say refinement is you got to start that cleansing process. You get what I'm saying? You got to go ahead and start refining your mentally refine yourself mentally. Get rid of all of that stuff that people told you you were. Because when we were coming up, people, they called me Drew. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't had no, I took that name, I ran with it, and I did things the way, so don't let nobody tell you who you are. Refinement is cleansing your mind, gaining the knowledge of yourself. Once you refine yourself, you see yourself. You see yourself for who you are and not who the world appear to be, who the world think you appear to be. So when you travel in that light, you release yourself from all of the BS. But that's a hard battle. That's a hard, very hard road to travel. I want that to be known. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have people that leave you. You're going to have people that turn their back on you. You're going to have people that doubt you. You're going to have people laughing at you. You're going to have your friends talking about you different. You're going to have all of these things coming at you. You're going to have your woman talking about you ain't a man enough. You're going to have the children fussing you out because you can't get them what they want when they want it, and they grown. You understand what I'm saying? So you got all of these things coming at you. You as an individual, you got all of this stuff coming at you. I'm going to say this again. A discouraged man would become a weak man. And don't nobody want a weak man around them. They're looking for somebody to lead so they can follow, whether it's a woman, man, or child. They are looking for somebody to lead so they can follow. And if you have been blessed with the ability to lead in that right path.
Absolutely. Don't lead people in the wrong direction.
Yes, man. Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's the sickness. That's one of the sicknesses that we have within the Black community when it comes to Black leadership. They get they do stuff, they get the glory for the story, they get the money, then they trickle it down to who they wanted to trickle it down to, and then they always set us 5-10 years back.
How about that, man? And so look, on that, we're gonna end. Because we can keep going deeper and deeper in this rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? Because it's never ending, and it has so many layers, man, and such a deep history, man. But I want to say thank you, though, Brother Daquan, for your time, for your wisdom, for your insight. And I'm sure for the listeners who listen to this, part 1 and part 2, they're definitely going to be blessed with some insights and give them something to think about, especially people who are family members of those of us who've been incarcerated. And will probably help them understand some of the things that we go through as we're striving for what we can call normalcy and balance in this world. And people think, oh, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with her? Why do they act like that? I'm hoping that this series right here, this discussion will help shed light on people or for people so they can understand who brothers like us are and sisters like us are.
And if it is a family member out there that's listening, that's dealing with a loved one, that's been incarcerated, man, I'm going to say this right here. If you're dealing with a loved one that's been locked up 5, 10, 15, 20 years we're not light switches. We are not light switches. I have a homeboy right now. He's been locked up 32 years. He's been in close custody for 31 years. He made it to minimum custody, then medium, then he made it to a minimum. He's an honor grade. He is all jacked up on because he hasn't been in that environment. He hasn't been out of close custody, so he cannot even function in minimum custody in prison. What do you think is going to be like for that brother when he come home and he get overwhelmed with all of the pressure of the world?
And so there you have it, man. There you have it. And so, as you said, for family members, really think about that. When we come out of prison, especially those of us who've been incarcerated, it's difficult. It's difficult for us to make transitions. So please be patient with us.
And support, man. And